Hello everyone and welcome back to another brand new MotoGP 24 equipment. We're getting towards the end of the season now in wrapping up for GP25. So today we're off to Misano, track that usually is a good track for me. I do love Misano, usually does give me some good feelings. And starting off in Friday's practice, pace was quite good immediately, which is really rare for me. I usually just don't have pace on Friday. Usually it's a bit of a slog. You have to really dig deep, find some settings that work for me and try and maybe get a toe on a Friday to get me into Q2 to get me close. But Friday this week was absolutely beautiful. We end up topping practice on Friday evening ahead of our main championship rival Jorge Martin, so I was really happy with that one. Unfortunately, Saturday was a wet day and I've not really had any speed at all on the KTM in the wet the whole season on. It's really been probably my biggest issue with one lap speed and the wet racing, just not really been there for me. So unfortunately our really good Friday turned into a bit of a wet, miserable, damp Saturday when the weather came, because the pace just really wasn't there as much. The grip and the kind of feeling I had in the dry, as you can see into 14 there, car, we just got it all wrong. And this, unfortunately, is our best lap. It was one of those ones where a bit of overriding, a bit of lack of setup time, a bit of just overall bike not really suiting these conditions, and wasn't able to get really the most out of it. So it's not been a great Sunday, and unfortunately it is going to be wet as well for the sprint. So we end up qualifying P9, and of course our main championship rival is on the front row in P3. So it's been a bit of a miserable Saturday really, all in all. Thankfully it's a bit drier, and hopefully for me the only thing I can think of is that maybe we get a flag to flag. And I was coming into this race really hoping that after a couple of laps maybe we could jump onto the dry tires and go from there, because usually that would suit me much better, because these drying track conditions can really be a bit funky. The AI seem to get a lot more out of them than I usually can. So after a decent enough start, we actually have made positions up almost into turn 1, but it's such a tight, twisty opening sector that you can easily make positions and then lose positions really easily. But in fairness, Bastianini there on the inside has made an absolute lunge, goes up the inside of one of the track houses on the outside. It's Miguel Oliveira, and we bump our way through into P4. And by the end of the first sector, up 5 positions, so this was great. So now I really needed to get into some sort of a good rhythm and try and catch the guys in front. Unfortunately, Miller, Vinales and Pecco up front really had good pace. Starting at lap 2 already, we have the warning for the white flag is out, which means we can pit. I didn't choose to go at the end of lap 2 because I thought, you know what, we'll wait and see what they do. It probably was the wrong decision because my tires absolutely have died on lap 3. Into pit lane here, we make a huge error. Just couldn't get the bike slowed down in time. Our front tire was so hot, I was just like skipping the whole way into the pit, and unfortunately we have gotten ourselves a long lap to take now after we come out of the pits. And this pit lane is such a long one as well, so you feel like you're losing so much time. But we came in with the leader, so I'm hoping we can come out. I believe Vinales went a lap earlier than the rest of us. You can see I'm around 5th at the moment, but I'm fairly sure Vinales dived in a bit earlier in the previous lap. And I remember thinking at the time, as he actually basically undercut everyone, pitted a lap early and got the lead. And looking now, he is probably a second over some of the front guys. And look at this, stone cold tires. What was my team doing? Absolutely no temp on my tires, so now performance is really low, and I'm being beaten here by the GP25 of Jorge Martin and Pecco Bagnaia. So unfortunately it's not been a great stop all in all, because we have lost kind of touch with the leaders, as well as now we're on stone cold tires and we've picked ourselves up a very unfortunate long lap. So because the tires are so cold, I thought to myself, we'll just push this out another lap. We'll get some temps just to make sure that we don't have any silly incidents in the long lap loop. So at this point in the race I was kind of thinking, kind of like I missed my opportunity. I've made a bit of a mess of this, and it wasn't really going to get any better when I couldn't really get temps. So I turned off the temperature gauge just so I could kind of focus on riding, not really be looking at it. Lap 5 here. Now we are taking our long lap penalty, so slight mistake, and now we are after paying the price, and now we're out of the points here in the sprint. And we've got real good drivers. You can get an outside slingshot line up the inside of Alex Marquez, but he just tips across me, but he does go in the green, so we do get the inside and get to move through Caro, real fast section. So it's or Covone, sorry, into Caro is kind of where I got to move really sleep done. But we're on last lap now, we're in P11. It's just been one of those sprints where it was just, I kind of was always one step behind. Every decision I made was slightly just mistimed and miscalculated. I think looking back on it now, I probably should have went soon as the white flag came out, should have gone onto the dry tyres immediately, because it looked like Vinales, who is in the lead and going on potentially to win this race, he made the perfect call coming in a bit early, being a bit more or probably not throwing caution to the wind more than anything, and he managed to really get this race and turn on his head. So we're fighting hard here with Bastianini. A bit of a bodge to overtake, I must admit, but I was nearly alongside and he still just kind of tips in if I wasn't there. So again, not much I could do with that one, but we end up finishing just behind our teammate, manufacturer colleague Pedro Costa, but it's a nil point on Saturday after our sprint, which was really disappointing all in all, because to be honest, I really felt like maybe we could have had some decent pace when I went to the dry, but it turned out it was a miserable Saturday all in all. So for the Sunday's main race, I just wanted to hopefully get a good start and get away with the front guys, because I knew the pace in the dry on my own was good. Now in a pack I wasn't really sure, and again the fact that we had such a poor qualifying, look at all them people ahead of me that really over one lap I probably had quicker, but in a race scenario it's going to be quite difficult. So again, critical we get a good start, and of course as always we go backwards. Thankfully Marquez just kind of runs into the back of us and doesn't go past us, because we probably would have lost more positions. Acosta on our left, a lot of people going really aggressive. That is one of the Yamahas, I believe, not too sure exactly who it was, but that was one of the factory Yamahas down. So we've already lost one of the guys who out-qualified me. I believe that might have been Frankie Morbidelli actually. So we're back in P9. We go for a bit of a lunge on the inside of Acosta down into Rio. One of the VR46 bikes behind Digi there, getting really close to the back of the Gas KTM bike there on Acosta. So again, early on, we're always trying to push the envelope a bit early here. We're already ahead of the sprint winner, Maverick Vinales, by the end of, or halfway through lap 1. In the sector one you could say, and already pushing our way through on Jorge Martin. We're really just trying to push the envelope here early and try and catch people a little bit probably sleeping in this only lap. It's a long race ahead, so I really need to get good track position and just kind of build upon it, because I really felt like if you lose the toe around this place, it's quite hard to make it up. I felt really in the sprint, I just, no matter how fast I was, I couldn't bridge the gap. So it was really critical for me that we make some positions. We got out of air with an absolute unbelievable counter attack. Look at that for a move, fair play to him. I remember right at the time thinking, wow, that was really impressive from him. The lunge back up the inside was really good. So fortunately we are kind of getting caught up in positions we don't really want to be battling for P4. We want to be kind of getting ahead, but fairness, we get a good drive out and up the inside we go, and this time we just got to make sure of it. And we end up going touch wide, so I think he could probably cut us back there, but we just really use the outside of the track on turn 8 Quersha, which then will give us the inside coming into the real long braking turn 9 and into 10 then of Tremonto. So P4, bit of a margin now to the front three. Miller leads from the two factory GP Desmedicis and the GP25s, and we have actually jumped a good bit into this race. The pace is quite strong, and I must say I was feeling pretty good again, having that clear track, nobody in front of me, nobody to kind of hold me up or take my eye line. And after a pretty opening interesting lap or two, after that nothing happened. It was just me tipping away, using as much tyre to kind of get across to the factory, technically 25 Ducatis in front of me, not 5 Ducatis. And I was just trying to basically get onto the back of them and get to my work, or maybe get on the podium. It looks like Quartararo in front maybe doesn't have the pace, as he seems to be probably holding Pecco back ever so slightly, but Misano is a critically known track for overtaking. It's just so difficult to get the move done cleanly and without making contact. So as much as I was kind of closing up to the back from here with a handful of laps to go, I still knew it was going to be a difficult race from here to get positions and even to catch Miller. I don't think at this point, with 3.5 laps to go, 1.7 seconds to Miller, I don't think that's really feasible, considering it's taken me like 6 laps to cover the 1.6 to Pecco. So bit of a scruffy first sector. He kind of went in deep, blocked me, then he kind of cut back to me again, but we get to run down to turn 4, and again small bit of contact again. He just kind of tips and tries to squeeze me. We both go wide, but that is us up into the podium. So we managed to get ahead of Pecco, which is very good. Next up is his teammate Fabio Quartararo. So we now jump to the start of lap 12. And a mistake there from Miller, really wide. So maybe Miller is known for using his tyres, so maybe he is at his wit's end with his front and rear tyre. So I was really just thinking, oh, where can I get ahead of Quartararo, because that GP25 usually punches out of the corner very well, and that time he went to touch deep. We went for a bit of a lunge inside, kind of again just turn back into me, but somehow we've managed to now leapfrog up into P2, and we're outside that last lap, and we've got the gap down to half a second. I think it's going to be one of those races where I just needed slightly better qualifying, and I think I could have maybe actually won this one, because we're really up against it here to try and get this race won, because we've already seen how hard it is. It took me a couple laps to get past 2 of them on the same bike behind, so I felt like it was going to be pretty difficult in 1 lap to catch and somewhat past Jack. So we're trying quite hard. The Pramac right in front is doing a great job. You can see our front tire is screaming for some relief. We're really taking everything out of the whole race, and it's down to a quarter of a second. We've taken time out again, but once you get past turn 8 Quercha, there's very few overtaking spots. A lot of the overtaking I've done this race has been done in the first 2 sectors, and now we're through that part of the track, so it's going to be just a difficult way to kind of get past them. Again, we're down to a 10th behind now, and we're really close. It's just trying to find a way past, because out of Tremonto into Carvone, really it's just a real difficult place to pass. And when you get into the last couple of corners, there's not really much you can do other than a lunge, which at this point in the race didn't really want to do. And we're really close to him again, but unfortunately it's one of these ones where I probably needed another lap. He's just taken the perfect line. I made a slight mistake. We have a bit of a look into Caro. He goes a bit deep, maybe just to defend from the lunge from me, but I wasn't close enough in the first place. And unfortunately through turn 15 we're not close enough. The gas come back up to 3/10 and into Misano corner. It's just not enough. We get a good drive in and out of the corner. We're really on his back wheel, and we end up less than a 10th off him, but unfortunately P2. But it was good recovery overall. Really happy. Again, we beat Jorge Martin, who was 6th, so after he beat me on Saturday in the sprint and in qualifying, we kind of get back all what we deserved on Sunday, because we good pace all weekend. We just kind of got a little bit skewed by the wet on Saturday, but we extend our lead over Jorge Martin now to 8 points, so we're just getting into a position now. If we can get down to double digits, we are kind of taking control of this championship and the running. Jorge Martin seems to be dropping a few more points than he has done in the last couple of rounds compared to the first half of the season where he was bulletproof. But that is where we're going to leave for today. Next up is India, a track I really do enjoy, but a very difficult track that. But we shall be back in a future episode with India. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Slán go fóill.